Hey, hi, it's been a hot minute, hasn't it? I had this whole idea for a video about Under Lilies. Very lovely game, very dark game, and pretty cool, pretty good. Very, very artistic, I love it very much, but here's the thing. I was having a moment, to put it lightly. So, I wasn't on a very good mental place, and now I'm much better. And so, I don't feel like hammering my head on a script that was made when I was feeling extreme depression. So, can we just agree to shove that into the, proverbial drawer, until I feel like doing it? Thanks, you guys are great. But outside of that, how about we talk about Arknights? The new one? This? Factorial but anime? Look, it's a good game. It's a very decent game. It's a very fun game at times. Building the factory is actually pretty funny. It's a bit of a trial and error, especially if you're like me and have ADD and you just forget what the hell you're doing. And so in the middle of constructing the entire this, you kind of end up making this. Because you have one resource that you use so goddamn much and you need that crap right bloody now. And so this happens. Feast your eyes on my despair. But this is one of the worst gacha games I have ever had the displeasure of playing. And trust me, I've been around the block. I've played Battle Cat. I've played Fate Grand Order. I still play Fate Grand Order. I've played the original Arknights. I've played freaking this. I've played this. And Arknights Endfield is one of the worst gachas I've ever played. But it's also one of the better gacha games I've ever played. So if you will give me a few minutes of your time, I will explain to you in not so uncertain details autism, don't blame me, blame my genetics, on why this game is both extremely fun and bloody terrible. So, let's get started. So, let's break this down. Story. You are this banging looking person, the administrator, which is the silliest of the names. Like, all of the sillies. It's lovely. It's great. It always cracks me up. But your job is to be a British person during the 1700s. Colonize, baby. Let's go. And by colonize, I mean you leave from a ship that is basically a lost cause, reach another land, ransack it for its riches, and leave bloody nothing behind, except despair and factories. So, it's a pretty decent game, it's a pretty good game, and I like it very much. I like this loop, it's not bad. But, I'm gonna be real with you, Chief, it's a gacha game. The story's a bloody mess. Because, look, there's an eldritch light source trying to basically turn you into abominations. There is goddamn Originium, it's still a thing, which, why it's still a thing, but okay, the Originium disease is still a thing, sure, let's go with that. And not to mention the original bloody annoying things from the, OG games, such as the light, the Sarkas still being, the Sarkas, and, oh yeah, there's also those things at the bottom of the ocean. I wonder if we dealt with that. Otherwise, I want my Scotty altar again. Thank you very much. So, yeah, it's a gacha story. There are so many moving parts. You don't need to pay attention to them. It's just an excuse for you to just roll on the goddamn gacha. I am going to get to that in a hot minute. Don't worry about it. So, okay, let's talk about combat for a second. Combat is one of the very few decent things in this game. It is responsive, but it is simple. So you don't need to pay attention to your cooldowns, you don't need to pay attention to I'm going to use skill X to hit Y and then I need to use this skill at this exact second to then. You don't need to do all that. You're not playing Genshin. You don't need a fucking spreadsheet of nonsense for this asshole skill. You hit the attack button, you hit the skill button, there you go. This game will probably become a lot more complex, I know it will, but in a way, I kind of feel pity on this game for not being more complex. I remember seeing the original ideas of this game, and it was something like, you actually need to think about positioning, and I loved that idea, a closer idea to the original game, which was a tower defense. I actually like that idea. And this one, not so much. You can just look at me playing. It's awful. It's simple. It's dumb. But it works. So, yay? Question mark? Probably a question mark. Oh, boy. Also, there's a dodge. And considering that it's this is the combat. So a dodge, you will probably be face tanking a lot of hits. So bring one of these girls, they will save your life. Especially this one, she's free. So, okay, let's talk about the gacha, shall we? We all had fun, we all had the whole yay. No, let's talk about the gacha. And it sucks. All of them suck. We can all admit it. We are all adults. And all gachas are crap. And this one is no different. And I can prove it mathematically, which is not my forte, so please feel free to correct me in the comments below. It'll actually help the engagement, so yay. So, okay, for my victims in this vivisection, I will be taking Arknights Endfield, Honkai Star Rail, Azure Lane, and Fate Grand Order. The span of time I'll be using is about a month, so 30 days, or basically 2 banners depending on the game you're playing. Plus, for fairness, I'll only be counting repeatable sources, meaning no events, no campaign, no exploration. I'll only be counting what you can get repeatedly, so please feel free to correct me. So, let's start with HSR, Honkai Star Rail. For each month, you will be getting about 5 free rolls. Each day, you get about 60 Primo Gems, so after a month, it'll go for about 1800. At about 900 for 2 rotations of both Divergent Universe and Currency Wars. And for generosity, I will be adding 1 rotation of each of the following: Forgotten Hall, Pure Fiction, and Apocalyptic Shadow. I'll be counting that you managed to get all stars, so that's about 800 times 3, so that'll net you 2400. So in total, 5100 Primo Gems in total, so that's about 36 rolls, give or take a couple. Again, I am not counting events or anything that you can get from events. I will not be counting free characters that you can get, otherwise Fate Grand Order will just win this debate. But since I'm not, let's keep going. Now, Azure Lane is a bit more direct and at the same time weirder for some bloody reason. They actually want you rolling on the gacha way more. So, for starting, you need money in wisdom cubes. Money is easy to come by and very farmable, so I'll only be counting the wisdom cubes, the gacha currency. Each month you get about 30 cubes just by logging in, plus some 20 cubes from the battle pass free tier, though that is me stretching the definition of being generous quite a lot, in fact, because quite frankly it is very hard for you to finish the battle pass in an entire month. You will need at least 1.5 or maybe even 2 months, but let's be generous here. Also, you get about 3 cubes in total during your daily quests. You actually get 4, but you need to spend 1 to get 1, so I'll only be counting 3. Since it's daily, that means you get about 90 more cubes. As the gachas cost, 2 cubes per roll, that should be netting you something like 70 rolls per month, all things added. Holy crap, that's so many rolls. Now, ladies and gentlemen, a moment of reverence for Fate Grand Order, the old man of the gacha games in the height of its basically 11 years at this point in the Japanese server. This fossil gives you 5 rolls monthly, 2 rolls weekly, and 1 more for missions. I'll be immeasurably kind and give FGO the benefit of you having completed your 50-day login bonus. So at the end of the month, you'll be getting 30 more quartz, meaning 10 rolls. So all added up, you should have about 28 rolls. God, this is sad. I did a whole song and dance, but this is sad. Finally, Arknights Endfield, the newer kid on the block. Since I haven't had the opportunity to run weeks worth of grinding, I will be very skeptical of my own numbers, so take all of these with a grain of salt. Now, let's begin with the most repeatable source of auto battles, the gacha currency, and that is daily quests, which will net you 200 a day. So a whole month will net you some 6,000 auto barrels, or a single 10 roll and 2 single rolls. Plus the 5 free tickets you seem to get whenever a banner comes up, which by the way they don't seem to carry over, so you actually need to spend them. You can't save them, so that's annoying. Also, it wasn't there when I started the game, but apparently you now have a weekly routine, which nets you some 500 auto barrels per week, so a nice chunk of 2,000 on your calculations. So I'll be kind and maybe I skipped something repeatable, and I'll say that in total you get about 10,000 auto barrels a month. I'm giving you 2,000 more just because I feel like it. So if you're lucky, you get about 25 rolls in a single banner, or 15 rolls on 2 separate banners, because I am assuming that you can split those evenly. That's terrible. No other way of saying it. It's just terrible. Not to mention this botched pity system where if you don't roll 30 rolls on a single banner, you don't get 10 free rolls on the other banner. So even if I am being extremely kind, you will not get the 30 rolls in a month to get you 10 rolls for free on the next one. Holy crap, that's bad. And look, you may be thinking, but that incentivizes the player to, save resources. But guess what, Choconuts? You are talking to a gambling addict. No one is saving. We all want the big titty dragon girl. which I actually got. Plus, these games are made for you to spend. It doesn't matter if it's Endfield or HSR or Fate Grand Order, the game is made with the gacha system first. They want you spending money. So they'll make you care about the character so they can milk you. They all do that. And sure, you don't need to roll on the weapon banner with the currency for the character gacha, but you still need to roll on the character gacha to get the currency to roll on the weapon banner. So that doesn't help, bud. That doesn't help at all. You know, which other games don't need you to run a character and weapon banner separately? Fate Grand Order, by technicality, and Azure Lane. And which games give you more currency to a single banner than Endfield? Look, the game just came out, but it's better that we tackle these issues literally now, otherwise we'll be getting to the point where, you know, skin gachas. No one wants that. You feel me? And besides, as I mentioned, the game ain't bad. And so far I didn't feel like I needed to roll for a stronger character. I got these characters because I wanted. Sure, in the footage you can see me using a bunch of 6-star characters, but here's me fighting with only the 5-star characters that you get. For free, basically. So, yeah, you don't need them. Also, yeah, in the footage they are fighting a weaker boss, but investing in characters is hard, man. I couldn't invest on them enough, sorry. But I'm pretty sure that if I invested in them properly, I could fight the strongest version of this boss and still win. You don't really need the 6-star characters, you want them because they're cool. Simple. Now all that is left is for us to see if Endfield will survive its first year. In this industry, that's already a feat and a half. And this has been a disjointed review of Arknights Endfield. Hope I helped you in some way, or at least made you chuckle. And I sincerely hope to see you sooner. I am planning on making other kinds of video, not just game reviews, but we'll see how it goes. I also hope I don't fall into, that deep dark hole again. So yeah, bye.